Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk. Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show that brings you the day's biggest movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor John Campea.
Greetings, Crystal Lee. Welcome back. Hello, everybody. I pronounced today George St. Pierre Day in honor of the upcoming fight between George St. Pierre and Nick Diaz tomorrow, where George St. Pierre is going to kick his butt all over the place, but I have to be at a wedding, so I'm just going to warn everybody now. If you dare tweet or email or Facebook anything about the fight card tomorrow before I have a chance to get home after the fights to watch the fights myself on DVR, I'm going to kill you. Okay, George St. Pierre all the way. GSP.
Those are fighting words.
Fighting words.
Fighting words. Okay, and our special guest today is Dan Devey, editor and chief at thecinemassource.com.
I have no idea what he just said, but I do know that now that you put it out there, you're going to get so many tweets and so many comments. It is ruined for you, sir. Already ruined. Already.
All right, guys, let's get started with this. The wheels seem to be in full motion now for Jurassic Park 4. The project was said to be greenlit some time ago, but today we have our first tangible signs that the movie is moving forward. Jurassic Park producer Frank Marshall tweeted the following: "Thrilled to have director on JP4 Carlin Trevorrow, an exciting young filmmaker who understands and respects the world that is Jurassic Park." Universal Pictures later put out an official press release reaffirming what Marshall had said. Trevorrow has never done a full studio film before, and his last work was the indie film Safety Not Guaranteed. John, what do you think about Trevorrow and Jurassic Park 4 now actively moving forward?
I think this is actually a pretty bold choice. I was a little bit surprised to see Trevorrow's name. Safety Not Guaranteed was a very well-received film, but definitely not a big Hollywood blockbuster spectacle film. A very interesting choice. So I have no problem with that. I'm really just more interested in the whole fact that this is a sign of life from Jurassic Park 4. I mean, they've said they were going to do it. We knew it was official that they were doing it, but nothing happening. Now we see it happening. It's kind of becoming real to us. Look, we were talking about it a little bit beforehand. I really loved the first Jurassic Park film. I found the second two obviously not up to the standards of the first one, but kind of fun spectacle films on their own. So I'm really looking forward to returning to Jurassic Park again. Dan, what about you?
I think the choice of the director is great, because for a huge spectacle movie like this, it would be great to have a director there who can, tell a story and, have some character development and do some of those things that spectacle movies tend to ignore sometimes. But I stick to my original statement, which is we don't need Jurassic Park 4. We don't need it. I asked if do we even know if there's a script? And, maybe there is. Well, I got about 4 pages in my car right now that say we invent a new dinosaur and it eats everybody and then the movie ends. It's just, we don't need it. We don't need it. But if you have to do it with a smart, intelligent director who's young and hungry and will, put his best into it. But we don't really need it.
But my thing always comes to this. I have this discussion with people all the time who say, we don't need that film, we don't need that film. Newsflash, we don't need any film.
Well, that's true.
Do people want it? And I think it's pretty obvious that people want it. So the studio's just going to give us what we want. Now, that's not always a good thing.
No,
not always a good thing.
Transformers.
But I think in this situation, I'm looking forward to it.
There's always more room for dinosaurs.
There's always room for dinosaurs, like Jell-O.
Come on. Okay, the newest Marvel superhero has been cast. Former WWE star Dave Bautista has been cast as Drax the Destroyer, a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. As most of you know, Guardians of the Galaxy opens next summer and will be the Marvel movie that leads directly into Avengers 2. Parks and Recreation star Chris Pratt has already been confirmed as the leader of the Guardians, Star-Lord. Game of Thrones star Jason Momoa was said to be the top candidate for the role of Drax, but rumors suggest Momoa demanded more than Marvel was willing to pay. Dan, what are your thoughts on Dave Bautista joining Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, first of all, I can't believe that Momoa asked for more money than they were willing to give him. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Like, this was your shot, man. Like, you dropped the galaxy ball on that, because that was just a bad move. They could have paid you nothing, and it still would have been worth it for you to do it. Now, as far as, a WWE star coming in, look, if he's going to be the only one in the film that's a former professional wrestler, fine. I mean, he's huge, and he's intimidating, and he's scary looking. So, okay, I could see him playing the intimidating part of it, but the thing that I loved about Momoa was that he's a real actor, and he could have brought real chops to the role and been more than just the physicality of it. And I don't know much about Dave, so I can't speak too much on him, but I'm willing to bet he's not exactly the, Royal Shakespeare Academy thespian type. So I think it's going to be a physical thing that he brings to the table, but probably that's all.
Yeah, this Momoa stuff, look, if the rumors are true, and you got to put that big asterisk beside that, if the rumors are true, and it's possible that they are. I remember we talked about Jason Momoa and the whole pay thing on this show before, when it was rumored that he was the top candidate and it's his, but that he might be playing hardball with Marvel. You don't play hardball with Marvel. Mm-hmm. Marvel has infamously let big stars go who were, like, the big thing, of course, is in Iron Man 1, who was Iron Man's best buddy? It was Terrence Howard. All right? A Oscar caliber actor, Terrence Howard. And guess what they said? You're expendable, buddy. You want more money? Goodbye. And they bring in Don Cheadle. So, Jason, what are you thinking? Like, I think Jason Momoa needed a film like Iron Man, or like Guardians of the Galaxy, a big, high-profile action movie that could really cement him as a legitimate player in Hollywood, because I believe the dude is really talented. And he needed this. So if those rumors are true, that this all fell apart because he wanted more money, fire your representation, man. Fire them right away. As far as Bautista...
Well, and this is also so cut and dry that John and I, 100% same page. That's how clear that mistake was. Just
Never
want to
happens.
throw that out
Once
there.
again,
Never
if true. Now, as far as Bautista goes, I gotta tell you, I love this guy. He is no actor. There is no way he's an actor. But the reason I love this guy so much is that he is the first guy to tell you. I was telling Dan and Chris Lee about this. I had a chance to sit down and talk with him recently. And, he just says himself, look, I'm no actor. I just get to have fun and go in and be in these big movies and just kind of do what I do. And there's something about a guy who is so grounded in reality and has his feet firmly planted, knows how blessed he is to even be in a situation like this. You gotta love it. But the fact that he's really not an actor gives me some pause. What that tells me is this, is that Drax the Destroyer is not going to have an awful lot of dialogue. I think they're going to keep it limited, much like they did with Bautista in Man with the Iron Fists, when he was like, I can't remember, brass skin? I think that's his name of the character, where skin all turns to brass and metal, kind of like Colossus. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a limited role. We'll see a lot of them. We'll see a lot of them doing action and kicking a lot of ass, but I don't think we're going to see him have a lot of lines of dialogue, which is kind of unfortunate. Well, listen, folks, we've come to that part of the show for buy or sell. What's going to happen here is that Chris Lee has a whole bunch of other items in the world of movie news. She's going to read them off, and Dan and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
All the way back in 2010, it was announced that Borat star Sacha Baron Cohen had signed on to play Queen singer Freddie Mercury in a biopic of the rock legend. However, nothing has been heard from the project in years until today. There are reports that Les Miserables and The King's speech director, Tom Hooper, may agree to direct the film. Hooper already directed Cohen in Les Miserables. John, buy or sell Hooper directing a Freddie Mercury biopic?
Okay, I'm gonna buy it because Hooper is a master director. He is a masterful director. I love this guy, so I will buy him directing Little Rascals: The Return. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna say this. Let me re-emphasize this. I sell the idea of this movie in general. I'm just one of these guys. I'm not interested in biopics about musicians. Just not. Show me biopics about people who actually changed the world. That I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in music. I love Freddie Mercury's music. Loved it, but I'm not interested in about a movie about his life. That's just me. But anyway, so for me overall, because it's Tom Hooper, I buy. Dan?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact opposite and buy the idea of the movie, but sell Hooper as a director. Because if you're going to do a movie about...
We are talking about Academy Award-winning director Tom Hooper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just want to check that.
Him. Because if this is going to be a movie about Queen and Freddie Mercury, I'm thinking there are going to be a lot of concerts filmed in this. And I think to tell the story accurately, you'd want to see the whole thing, but we're only going to see Freddie Mercury's face like that if it's Tom Hooper filming, a la Les Miserables. So I do not think he is the best choice for that.
All right. Wow. Okay. Warner Brothers is apparently in a race to get a Moses movie produced with Ridley Scott, who is also in the process of putting a Moses movie together. It has been reported that Steven Spielberg was on board to direct the film for WB titled Exodus. However, it is now being reported that Spielberg is off the project and that WB is now looking to turn the project over to fellow two-time Best Director Oscar winner Ang Lee, who just won his second Oscar for Life of Pi. Whew, that was a lot. Dan, thoughts on WB going from Spielberg to Lee on Exodus?
I think it definitely buy it. I think that Ang Lee is the perfect man to tell this story. I mean, you're talking about Moses, so you've got to part the Red Sea, you've got to, be in the desert, you've got to do all these visually amazing things. And one thing that has been consistent with all of Ang Lee's work is that it is always breathtaking. It is always beautifully shot. It is always incredibly executed. He knows how to work with actors. I totally buy it. I think it's an amazing choice.
I also got to buy this. And imagine what a great problem to have. Oh no, we've lost legendary two-time Academy Award-winning director Steven Spielberg. Oh well, guess we'll have to go to legendary two-time Academy Award-winning director Ang Lee. Boo-hoo, poor us. So yeah, I buy this. I still when I'm flipping through the channels, I still really love that original Ten Commandments movie. There's just something really cool about this whole story that lends itself to big Hollywood, and so that's kind of neat. The fact that Ridley Scott is also trying to get one made, it's like we're gonna end up with another Snow White situation, where there are multiple Snow White movies, but still, overall, I'm with Dan, I buy.
Can you ever get enough Moses, though?
Never
Can
enough
you ever
Moses.
get enough Moses? I don't think so.
The thing that everyone seems to be talking about right now is a Kickstarter project for Warner Brothers owned Veronica Mars has just raised $2 million through public donations to get a movie version made. The success of the donation campaign has made a lot of Firefly Serenity fans immediately start to speculate if their beloved story could possibly get another movie made. Creator Joss Whedon has shot those hopes down, saying that neither he nor the cast have the time or the next 3 years to even think about doing another Serenity movie, and hinting at the fact that it would take a lot more money to do a Serenity movie than $2 million. John, buy or sell Whedon's position?
You have to buy it. I mean, he's right on both counts. He's tied up with Marvel forever. Nathan Fillion is still tied up with Castle. So getting the cast together would be almost impossible on its own. But also, yeah, doing a Serenity sequel, while not Star Trek level budget, it's going to take a lot of money, not the type of money that they can raise through a project like that. So overall, I buy it.
Totally buy it. I mean, for exactly the same reasons. You can't, I mean, Kickstarter is great for some projects, but that's a massive, massive undertaking that you just couldn't raise that much money. And like you say, everybody's busy doing other things. So I don't see it happening.
All right, folks. Well, listen, we've come to that part of the show. Normally we do mailbag, but before we get into mailbag, I just want to remind you that opening in AMC theaters everywhere tonight, as a matter of fact, is the new Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi, and Jim Carrey film, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Now, I recently actually had a chance to go to Las Vegas to sit down and meet with Steve Carell to talk about the new movie. And before we get into the mailbag, I just wanted to share a few moments of that conversation with you. So here, check it out.
Talking with Steve Carell. First of all, Steve, congratulations on the movie.
Thanks.
It's so delightful. I got to ask you this, though. One of the things that came out for me in watching Burt Wonderstone is that a lot of us, when we think of you as a comedic performer, we think in terms of you and Paul Rudd are almost kind of cut from the same cloth in many ways. You have this great unassuming way about you so that when you do your comedy, it just hits us even more powerfully. But we forget you also have that you and Jim Carrey are very similar in many ways because you are amazing at physical and facial comedy.
Oh, thanks.
Like we think of that scene in Bruce Almighty with you at the news desk, and you have a great scene in this movie with Steve Buscemi where you're sitting in the bar together and you're having a very emotional moment.
Right. Yeah.
What is it about you as a performer that allows you to have that kind of diversity as a comedic performer?
I don't know. I guess I am just so versatile that it's I blow people's minds that way. I don't. That's very kind of you to say. This movie it made me laugh. The character made me laugh. The look of this guy makes me laugh, and I think that's part of the battle.
Right.
When you have these wigs and the eyeliner and the tan and the velour jumpsuit cut down to here, you kind of just act a different way. You sort of can't help it. So with the assistance of those things, I think it's beneficial when you have that much of a character to play.
like many other comedies, it's almost like the magician angle is kind of just the context for the hero's journey of going from one kind of man to another kind of a man, the importance of relationships and friendships, which comes out across in this movie. What made this context of the world of Vegas magicians work so well with those stories that we're so familiar with?
Well, it is a familiar story. That's the story of redemption, the story of rags to riches. And I liked it in this context because it's such an amped up world. It's a world that people think they're familiar with, but rarely get to see. I've never seen this world in a comedy, and that was one of the things that was intriguing to me about it. And I think there is a different spin to it, but I like the framework of the movie. You see this guy as a little kid who's being bullied, who really doesn't know his place, doesn't have anything that makes him feel important. He finds magic, and then over the years becomes egotistical and vain, and kind of becomes a terrible guy. And when all of that falls through and he loses all of it, he's left with this shell of who he used to be. And I think it is a sort of a classic dynamic in terms of story, but I think it's funny, and I think it's something that people can relate to, and it's just a context that I don't think they've seen it comedically, at least.
You told a great story at the press conference yesterday about walking around Vegas in full costume.
Yeah.
And that nobody denied you here.
Nobody did. Nobody made any mention of it. It didn't stand out in any way, and it was the first week we were shooting, and you kind of want to get a sense for how the look is going to work, because you see these posters and you see the billboards and you watch the trailers for the movie and you think, this is outlandish and no one dresses this way, and it's it almost looks like it would be a parody, but it's not, because you get here to Las Vegas and this is how a lot of performers dress, and it's a familiar sight. We were shooting, I don't know if we talked about this during the press conference, but we shot that hotbox scene, and we were hoping it would gather a crowd so we could use the crowd and shoot them as the crowd in the movie. And it didn't gather a crowd because people are so jaded here. They're so immune to any sort of spectacle. The two guys in a plexiglass box dangling over the script didn't even, they might stop for a minute or two, but they weren't going to hang out. And I think that is very informative. It was informative to us about Vegas, that this is a different place, and the rules are different, and what is normal here, it does not apply elsewhere.
Well, listen, Steve, congratulations on the movie. I liked it very much, and we can't wait to have it on AMC screens.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Once again, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone opens in AMC theaters everywhere tonight. Head on over to amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information for The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. All right, folks, well, it's that time of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you would like addressed on air, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Email us 24/7, doesn't matter. And every day we pick out a few from the mailbag to address on air. Chrisley's got a few of them there. So, Chrisley, what do we got?
Pedro Duarte writes, the Veronica Mars movie is assumed to be happening because of the Kickstarter fundraising success. They reached the goal within just hours. What do you guys think this means for the movie industry? Will it change how movies get financed? And will studios now use Kickstarter to see if a project has an audience while getting part of its budget from the fans?
Here's the thing. I'm still a little bit torn over I feel very passionately, but a little bit torn. Look, on the one hand, I said this in an earlier episode, I kind of dig the idea that fans now kind of have a way to get a movie they want made. There's something really cool about that. And I don't fault any fan who wants to donate money to get a certain movie made. No fault of that whatsoever. I especially love it when we're talking about Kickstarter programs like John Schnepp's movie, What Happened to Superman, The Death of Superman Lives. Because that's a guy who just has this idea, this passion to make a film, he needs to raise the money to do it, and he does it. But I feel very, very differently about this situation with Veronica Mars. Veronica Mars is not some little independent filmmaker who wants to get a movie made. This is a property owned by Warner Brothers, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. This is their property. And they, Rob Thomas, the guy who's going to direct, hasn't been able to get Warner Brothers to agree to give him the money to do it. So he said, they've come up with this way. What if we get the public to pay for it? What if we get people to pay for it and we can keep all the money the movie makes and all that kind of stuff? Here's what I liken it onto. Now tell me if I'm nuts, guys, with this analogy. But here's the best way to put it, okay? This is what's happening. This is why I think this is absurd. I'm going to use a sports analogy, all right?
You've already lost me.
Try to follow me here, right? Here's the sports analogy. The New England Patriots are a billion-dollar corporation, right? Owned by Robert Kraft, a great sports owner, by the way.
Yes.
So Robert Kraft owns the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, who is kind of the boss of the team, he's the coach. He decides, you know what? I want Ray Lewis on the team. Ray Lewis just retired. I think, I've talked to Ray Lewis, if we give him $5 million, now follow me here, guys. Belichick says, if we can give Ray Lewis $5 million, he will come out of retirement and join the New England Patriots. And Robert Kraft says, well, that's an interesting idea there, Belichick, but I don't know if he's necessary. I don't know if it's a good financial investment to put up $5 million to bring this aging superstar out of retirement to play for us. That's a big investment, $5 million. So Belichick then says, well, how about this? What if me and Tom Brady go on Kickstarter? And we say, hey, folks, if you want Ray Lewis on our team, you give us the $5 million it'll take for us to get him out of retirement. Now, Robert Kraft then says, that's a great idea, Bill. I love it. Because even if he's a bust, no money out of my pocket. And if he's a big success and helps us get to another Super Bowl, it'll make me millions and millions of dollars. Get the dumb peon public to pay for it. Great idea. So Bill Belichick and Tom Brady go on Kickstarter. They pitch their idea. Hey, you want Ray Lewis on the team? And of course the fans go, yeah. So they each donate $100 or whatever, and they raise the $5 million. Okay, look. Once again, bringing it back now to this scenario. I like the idea that fans can get involved. I like the idea that the fans have a voice. And I don't fault the fans at all for saying they want to put up the money to do that. But I have a deep philosophical problem about a multi-billion-dollar corporation looking to make some money and turning to the public to cover their butts. To say, you pay for it and we'll benefit from it. You pay for it, we'll reap the rewards. And I just got a problem with that. So Dan, am I completely out to lunch here? Like, what do you think?
This is another bizarre situation where it is so obvious that both John and I agree on this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this? I mean, talk about fans having to now pay for the budget to make a movie so that the movie can be made. Well, I got news for you. Fans already paid for it because they watched the show. The advertising revenue you made from that is because they watched the show. They've already done their part. It's the part of the studio to pay for the project. If you don't believe in the project, then you don't make it. To ask someone else to put up the money, unless you're giving every single person who contributes percentage points in the film, so that if the film does well,
so it's an investment.
So it's an investment,
as opposed to a donation.
The way that regular independent films get financed. Don't do any of this. We'll send you a t-shirt in the mail in exchange for covering our budget for our film. And then when it's a huge success and we rake in tons of money, you get to look at your t-shirt and wear that every day. No, I mean, it's the greed in this country is getting, I mean, it's been out of hand for a long time, but this brings it to new epic proportions that are really, I mean, it's shameful. It's a shameful thing. I do agree, though, that I don't fault the fans. Like, if you really want to see it and you want to get involved, I can understand you doing it. Just please don't. Because if you do, I mean, you set a new precedent, and then everything will be... I mean, basically, what Warner Brothers is saying is, we will commit the promotions budget for the film, buying T-shirts and hats and whatever. You guys pay for the production, and then when it comes out, pay again to see it. Yeah. And then when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, pay again to buy it, and we'll cover the promotions budget. Awful, awful. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Now, I will say this.
Wagging my finger at you now.
Let me reaffirm this, that once again, I'm talking about projects that are owned by multi-billion-dollar corporations.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the independent filmmaker out there who just can't, who has an idea and they want to do something. It's their story and they want to get it made, and the only way they can get it done is turn into Kickstarter and people want to donate. I think that's amazing. I love Kickstarter for what it does on that level. And I would even not have a problem with it. Tell me what you think of this, Dan. I wouldn't have a problem with this if, okay, look, it costs them 25 cents to get a t-shirt made, and to give a digital download of the movie, that doesn't cost them anything. So you're getting somebody to donate. But I'm okay with this. What do you think about this? What if they figure out a way to get on Kickstarter? Let's say Joss Whedon doing Serenity. What if he was able to get on Kickstarter and say, okay, I want to raise $20 million, whatever. Never do it with Firefly, unfortunately, because I love that show. But he says, if you donate $20 or $15, that's actually in advance, because what we are going to send you is a digital barcode that entitles you to your free ticket to see the movie. You're actually just paying to see the movie in advance. The price of a ticket. You send us the $12, the $10, whatever it costs, and we'll send you a digital barcode that gets you into the movie. So you're breaking even as a fan. You're getting your movie ticket in advance. You're just putting the money up in advance. I might be okay with something like that. That could be an interesting approach for Hollywood studios, whether it's Kickstarter or some other program, because then the audience is actually getting what they pay for. So I'd be okay with that. What do you think?
I think that you might be the smartest man in the room. I normally don't, but yes, sir. My name is Dan Devey, and I endorse that message.
All right, let's move on.
Let's go to Mandy Davis. Mandy Davis writes in, hey guys. Hey, Mandy. My husband and I are big Halo fans and loved Halo Forward Unto Dawn. You've talked a lot about video game movie possibilities, and we are curious about the possibility of a full-length Halo movie. I think it could be awesome if done like Halo Forward Unto Dawn. What do you guys think?
I think, let's not delude ourselves. As a Halo fan, yeah, Forward Unto Dawn was kind of cool to watch, but it was subpar production values, subpar acting, subpar everything. But as a fan, as kind of like an addition to the video game that you as a fan get to watch, it was pretty cool, but you couldn't make that a feature film. The problem with a Halo feature film right now is this, is that its peak of popularity is about 3 years in the past. Halo is never going to, again, be as popular as it was a bunch of years ago. It's still a very popular title, but I think if Peter Jackson couldn't get it pulled together with studio approval and everything, I just don't know that they could do it moving forward. Because to make a Halo movie the way Halo fans want it made, you're talking about a $150 million budget, and I just don't know that there are studios willing to put that up. Dan, what do you think?
Well, movies based on video games never fail, so
they're always successful.
I don't see why anyone would have any sense of trepidation on dropping that. And that's all I have to say.
And there's always Kickstarter.
And there's always
Kickstarter. Okay. Ashley Thorpe writes, first off, you guys make my day a little brighter with this show. Love it.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
sweet. On a previous show, John Campia mentioned one of my favorite movies, Waitress, with Kerry Russell, Nathan Fillion, and Andy Griffith. Do you have any recommendations for other great, lesser-known movies with famous actors?
First of all, yeah, seriously, guys, if you haven't seen Waitress, it's a special little movie. It's just a very low-budget, simple film that I thought was really endearing. The movie I always like to talk about, though, when talking about little-known movies with big stars, is in my top, I think, 3 all-time favorite comedies, and it's called Noises Off, and it stars Michael Caine, Christopher Reeve, John Ritter, Carol Burnett, the cousin from Perfect Strangers, the girl from Airplane and Airplane 2.
Balky?
It's got no, the other one.
Oh,
Cousin Larry. That's it. Cousin Larry. It's got this amazing cast, and it is me and about 3 buddies used to rent a house together, and we literally watched that movie every day for months. It's so special. It's so great. It's called Noises Off. Find it if you can. Dan, you got any?
Yeah. Ashley asked this question, right?
Yes.
Ashley, I'm so glad you asked this question, because this is what I love. This is what I really love about Hollywood. Yes, I love the big action films and all that stuff, but the things I really love are the movies you're describing, the smaller films with big name actors. Right off the bat, Puncture with Chris Evans. Such an amazing film, a great drama. It's a courtroom drama. Chris Evans played, and it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
Really just a great, great film. And another film is a film called White Irish Drinkers, which
Wow. Like nobody saw that either.
Oh, no one saw it, but it was so good.
Yeah.
It had Stephen Lang from Avatar, Karen Allen from Indiana Jones, Peter Weichert, who's been in everything, and then an amazing young cast who you'll be seeing in future projects, directed by a director named John Gray, who is so talented that definitely, if you haven't seen it, go, it's on Netflix, I think. If not, pick it up on DVD or Blu-ray. White Irish Drinkers, such an amazing film. But that's a great question. More people, I would say, try to seek out those films. Like, look at your favorite star, check out their IMDb page, see what other things they've done, and support those smaller movies, because they do these big films and they love doing them. It's a lot of fun. They make a lot of money. But if you want to really get to know those actors, look at their passion projects. And it's going to be those smaller independent films. And 9 times out of 10, they're really, really good.
Clayton Locke writes, with some Marvel movies getting rebooted as of late, like Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, what would you say about them possibly rebooting The Punisher? I thought the first one they did with Thomas Jane was good, but that second one was bad. What are the chances of a reboot for Punisher down the road?
I got to actually go in reverse of you. I thought the first one was okay at best. I thought the second one with Ray Stevens, Punisher Warzone, was actually the better of the two films. I actually like that one. But here's the problem. Number one, I don't even know that Marvel has the rights to the Punisher right now. I think they're going to get them back eventually, and they may have them back already. But I don't think they own the rights right now. By all means, guys, jump into the comment section and correct me if I'm wrong. Beyond that, they've tried the Punisher twice now, and neither time did it really get big public support. Plus, if Marvel did get the rights back to the Punisher, to do the Punisher right in the way that the fans want it, it's got to be hard R violent. And I don't think Marvel right now is in the business of making R-rated, that kind of violent films. So I see a lot of hurdles for another Punisher movie to come. Dan?
Yeah, I think it's a rights issue depending on who has them and how much they can make it for. I don't think they should. I mean, do you really need 3 tries at it? 3 bites at the apple to get it right? Some things just are not going to work as films. And Marvel has plenty of other things that they're working on and developing that they're very confident in and have put a lot of money behind and a lot of support behind. So I would seriously doubt if they tried this again. But, I mean, again, it all comes down to money. So if at some point, someone says, The Punisher is the next big thing, there will be another.
Yeah. All right, folks, well, listen, we've run out of time. But before you do anything, stop what you're doing and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel to keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news. And, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. If you want an audio-only version of this show, jump down into the description of this video and you'll find links to our iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And listen, go out and see a movie tonight like The Incredible Burt Wonderstone or The Call or anything else you want to see. Go to amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. And once again, click the subscribe button. The best way you can support this show. We don't ask you to send us money. Just click that thumbs up button.
Could we?
You can if you'd like.
Could that happen?
But click the thumbs up button, or by all means, more importantly, click the subscribe button. I want to thank our lovely host, Miss Chrysalie Kennedy.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
TheCinemaSource.com's one and only Mr. Dan Deavy.
Thank you very much, sir.
And thank you to you guys. Once again, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Jump on down to the comments section. Leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we've discussed today. We read all of them. So once again, my name is John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until tomorrow, bye-bye.